Hello there. This is Alan Knox here, the author of Ensign Mind, to talk about making profiles on wikis. Now, I don't think there's any rule for to make your own wikia of profiles of your own characters when it comes to doing that. About if you publish your own novel, about you not being allowed to make the wiki of it. I don't know if there's a strict rule on that. I don't think there is. But when it comes to other wikias, from what I've been told, throughout most wikias, or some of them, I wouldn't say all of them. I think there are wikis that can allow an author to make profiles of their characters on the appropriate wiki. It's just that for some reason they say it's not fair, and it should be more so about how they analysis, because it just doesn't seem, it just seems like everything's just granted to them. It just seems like it's just too easy, or too much of an easy sport to accomplish. Back to what I'm saying though, I think there were when it comes to doing statistic profiles though, that there is one where you can have creative freedom, and others that just that don't make a big deal. But back to what I'm saying. There's one rule that I looked up on Villains Wiki. I don't know if this was updated recently, because I don't remember seeing this years ago. But back to looking at this rule says you cannot make these profile characters that are of your own creation. These are capitalized. The whole entire this entire phrase, I believe, is capitalized. You cannot publish these profiles, make these profiles that are under your creation. And when it comes to their popularity, I don't know, there might be a different other way to do this, but according to what the Villains Wiki says with their rules, it also has to be past 500,000 views on YouTube. There has to be something that is 50% of a million people who've seen it to actually give the authorization to say, okay, all right, this character is free to go to be published on our wiki. Now, creepypasta and other things and other professionally published things are allowed, but fan fiction characters are not. But a lot of people may argue that creepypasta characters are no different from fan fiction characters, due to the fact that they're not really professionally published. They're just typed in like every other fan fiction, from what a lot of people believe. There can be a debate on that. I can see people debating that, but when it comes to the popularity rate, it has to be some type of form of media. I'm surprised sales weren't mentioned there. The number of sales, how much did this thing actually sell? Did this sell at least over 100,000 copies or something? Did this sell a lot? Did this get over 1,000 reviews or something like that? It had to get I wish there was more to this than just you have to achieve this number of views or have this number of subscribers. I wish there was more information given to that, and I think they should. And the thing is, when it comes to discussing this rule, I think it's rule number 5 is what they have. But when it comes to discussing this rule and what they have, this rule is, the question is, will Eogo, Ali Tainter, and Caprin make it to Villains Wiki? Will they actually finally have a profile? Because I've achieved step 1. And getting the novel published, and Eogo and Caprin are present in there. So the step 1 of themselves, it follows the rule. But the thing is, there's 2 other steps to follow. There's 2 other steps. The second, that's the first step. The second step, and back to the first step. A lot of people don't really think that this was a published novel due to the fact that the cover looks like a doodle and it doesn't look like an actual published thing. But here's the thing: One Punch Man, the original, is a published thing just on some website, and it looks like a doodle. So I don't get what's the big deal on that. If it's like, I've seen doodles, like there were doodles before just Stickman. I could have sworn there were doodles of like Stickman that got approved of profiles on wikis. But back to what I'm saying. Rule number 2, you have to have some certain form of popularity. I just wish there was more listed than just the 100,000 subscribers on YouTube or the 500,000 views. I wish there was more listed, like sales, all right, and or number of reviews, or how. I'm trying to think of something, or how much is it advertised? I guess maybe promoted. How many people want to promote this? Maybe that's basically the second rule. And rule number 3 is the last step. No, not rule number 3. The last step is it cannot be the author. It has to be someone else. Now, I don't know if the author has the right to tell someone to do it for them. I don't know about that. And I don't know how much of a big deal they'll actually make that out to be, or how strict, how much of a huge following of a rule to that is. I don't know for sure where that's actually applied. But when it comes to the rule there, it cannot be, it has to be someone that is not the one who created them themselves. That is that rule alone has fascinated me. But that rule alone has just very intrigued me over why these characters cannot, like why an author can't do it, despite the fact that it is their character, it is who they did. They cannot make it. I don't know if they are not allowed to edit it or not. Like if it's made, are they allowed to edit it? Because what if there's something that the publisher got very wrong and the author doesn't agree? Should they have the right to do it? I don't know. But the author, I cannot do it, unfortunately. I don't know about Antagonist Wiki. I think maybe, and I think I talked to one of the administrators and they said that I think one of them said that as long as it was professionally published, it's okay, I believe. But things on like Villains Wiki, you have to solve these certain things. Even though step 1 is a very important step and it does make them official characters, there has to be, the problem is, I think I know why they're doing this. They want like characters that have made it out themselves. I can think of 2 different things. They want characters that have made it out themselves, like where things are just made out with so much work of itself to actually make such an achievement. They want something of a huge achievement. And 2, they want something where people, at least there's a good amount of people that have some common knowledge and knowing who and what these characters are to give some information. That's all I can think of for now. So the question is, will I ever be able to achieve these next 2 steps? Like I said, I've only achieved step 1, but will I ever achieve these next 2 steps? Well, that depends on their popularity on at least getting over 500,000 views on YouTube, at least 50% of a million. So I have to get around 500,000 people or somewhat of that number. You actually can make more of that sort of, there's an interesting way but of like going back to it, but it actually, some of that goes away. It's interesting, like if you keep, there's interesting things to discover on that, about how that happens. I honestly don't like how YouTube establishes its view count, because the thing is though, like if you do like some experiments, like you keep going back over and over, it actually will not count that many views, but for some reason, according to like each next day, it does to a certain extent. But that's beside the point. That was just more so like how views on YouTube work. Because if you get like a 500,000, you might not actually get 500,000 people looking at it. It's really aggravating. I honestly don't like it. What I'm trying to say is that I'm not a big fan over how YouTube handles its view count. I think they need to redo it, reestablish it, because it's got issues, and they need to like establish it over just the person itself who's seen it, and like say like the account that's seen it, to let it know that the view has seen that and watched the whole thing. They need to establish a different way the view is seen, other than just like I click the video, it counts as a view. I go back to the view, it counts as a view. And then something weird happens when I do so many. It's just very odd. But well, okay. Returning to discussing about Villains Wiki. Oh, what? How is this? It's going to be interesting. I don't think Eogo, Ali, Tainter, and Caprin are going to make it to Villains Wiki anytime soon, despite the fact of that they are published characters from a publishing company that was, I think it was paid like in between $500 to $1,500,000, I believe. I think that's what it was. Like it's somewhere in between that, and they are published characters by Balboa Press, but the thing is though, is that they're not big league published characters. They're just small league. So will they ever reach that? I hope so. I just extremely doubt it will be this year. I extremely doubt it. Until then, this is Alan Knox, and also I'm probably going to do a commentary on each of the 9 chapters of Ensign Mind Afternoon Solipsism to give my positives and my things that I felt like were a regret committing, or no, committing's too much of strong words. Like I regret, no, that might not be the correct phrase. I mean like I regret allowing or regret writing, and I'll give my thoughts on I'm probably going to give my thoughts on each chapter of the 9, on how I really felt, really felt, especially the ones that I have a lot of negatives to say, a lot of them. Until then, this is Alan Knox saying goodbye.